Hello, dear students. So, we were discussing about the kingdom Protista, and in the kingdom Protista, we had actually seen various introductory features and characteristics about this kingdom. Before the kingdom Protista, we had discussed about the kingdom मोनेरा, राइट। मोनेरा में हमने आर्की बैक्टीरिया, यू बैक्टीरिया और माइकोप्लाज्मा, ये तीन मेन टाइप्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म हमने डिस्कस किए थे। उसके बाद हमने किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा डिस्कस किया। किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा में हमने देखा कि उसके लिए जो करंटली जो बेसिक क्राइटेरिया है टू प्लेस एन ऑर्गेनिज्म इनटू किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा इज दैट द ऑर्गेनिज्म फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मस्ट बी यूकैरियोटिक एंड देन it must have the unicellular organization, right? So single celled eukaryotes are included into the kingdom protista, and it does not matter whether what is the mode of reproduction, what is the mode of nutrition, whether they are photosynthetic or not. And that is why this group has become a little bit confusing to the general public. However, those who follow a systematic way or systematic जो सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से अगर किसी चीज़ को समझते हैं या उसको सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से चीज़ों को देखते हैं, तो फिर ये डिफ़िकल्ट नहीं है कि कौन सा ऑर्गेनिज़म किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा से बिलोंग करेगा और नहीं बिलोंग करेगा। सो आई हैड टोल्ड यू दैट देर आर 5 ग्रुप्स in the kingdom protista, and the first 2 groups are actually mainly the algae। और उसके बाद हमने बताया था कि यूग्लिनॉइड्स होते हैं, स्लाइम मोल्ड्स हैं, प्रोटोजोन्स हैं। सो नाउ इन दिस लेक्चर फर्स्ट वी विल डिस्कस these इनिशियल ग्रुप्स ऑफ द किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा। तो सबसे पहले हम देखेंगे क्राइसोफाइट्स। ओके, सो द क्राइसोफाइट्स actually they are also famous by the name of the diatoms। okay, diatoms or diatoms, so chrysophytes are diatoms, and in addition to diatoms chrysophytes also include the desmids। तो डाइएटम्स एक अलग तरह के अलगी हैं और डेस्मिड्स उनसे थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट होते हैं, वो गोल्डन अलगी होते हैं। ठीक है, तो डाइएटम्स आर एक्चुअली ग्रीन अलगी and desmids are golden algae, and they both are included in the chrysophytes। and diatoms actually ये पहले प्लांट्स में इंक्लूड किए जाते थे। इनिशियल क्लासिफिकेशन जो था बाइनोमियल टू किंगडम सिस्टम ऑफ द क्लासिफिकेशन था, देयर द डाइएटम्स were included into the kingdom plantae because these organisms are photoautotrophs। that means they can perform their photosynthesis and can synthesize their own food। okay, let me also tell you that diatoms are actually very numerous and they are very abundant in the oceans or seas। okay, so they are actually aquatic, they may be freshwater or they may be marine। okay, सो फ्रेश वाटर यानी लेक या पॉन्ड्स जो होते हैं, और मैरीन का मतलब जो ओशन में या फिर सी में जो रहते हैं। ठीक है, तो उनको मैरीन बोला जाता है। दोनों एक्वेटिक हो गए, एक्वेटिक के टाइप्स हैं। फ्रेश वाटर और मैरीन में क्या डिफरेंस होगा? आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ यू कैन गेस दैट फ्रेश वाटर में जो सॉल्ट कंटेंट है वो रिलेटिवली बहुत ही कम होगा। ठीक है, उसका मीठा पानी होता है, और ओशंस विल हैव ए ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ द सॉल्ट, and because of this salt condition the environment will be different, and the organisms of the fresh water cannot survive usually in the oceanic environment or in the marine environment because of the different adaptability। okay, तो डाइएटम्स जो है बहुत ही अबंडेंट होते हैं, दे आर फोटोसिंथेटिक and they are also called as planktons। so there are many kinds of the planktons। diatoms are the major planktonic organisms। what is the meaning of plankton? plankton का मतलब होता है कि those organisms which can freely swim around or freely they can float in the water current. Okay, so if they float passively in the water currents, they are called as planktons. Okay, so the diatoms actually, the how the name diatom came, the diatom name comes by their unique arrangement of the cell wall. So the cell wall of the diatoms looks like a soap case. Here you can see, as in the soap case you have two pots, right? Two halves are there. So first half and the second half will cover the first half, and it will make a lid like structure. Okay, which can be very clearly observed under the microscope. They all are microscopic organisms. Okay, so because of these two separate units of the cell wall, uh, they are called as diatoms, and their cell wall, very interestingly, actually is very resistant to the external environment. And this cell wall, which is fitted like a soap box, okay, it has silica. So this term, like soap box like, this is very important. It is asked many times in the exams, and rather more often in the NEET examination. So this soap box like arrangement, this you must remember. So this is the characteristic feature of the diatoms. And this cell wall, which looks like a soap box, it contains silicate compounds. Okay, so this large amount of the silica material is present in these cell walls, and that is why they are resistant. And diatoms are not famous only for the planktons, but they are also very famous because of these cell walls, because these silicate materials, once the diatomaceous organisms die in large numbers, what happens that they are drifted away along the shore, and they get deposited in the bulk amount. So over a large period of time, these bulk deposits make a large mass, and over millions and billions of years, they make a unique or different kinds of the soil or landscape, and that is called as diatomaceous earth. Okay, so the diatoms are famous for being plankton, for the major organism in the ocean. And then the second reason is they are famous for the diatomaceous earth. So they form diatomaceous earth, and because of these silicate compounds which are present in the cell wall, they have become very famous, and they have become very useful also. The silicate compounds actually provide very useful characteristic to this diatomaceous earth. And this material of this earthy material which is formed after these deposits, this is very useful, and it is used in the industries. This material, after the deposition, this soil actually becomes a gritty. Okay, so this gritty substance can be used uh, for the polishing. Okay, so these large amounts of the deposits of cell wall, wherever these diatoms were present, they get accumulated and form these useful substances which can be used for the polishing of certain substances because of the gritty nature of that soily substance. And then they also can be used for the filtration of the many medicines like syrups, and they are also used in the factories for the oil filtration also. Okay, so diatomaceous earth actually is very useful in several industries, and some more details we will study in some advanced topics which we will see later on. Okay, we will revisit some of these topics from the point of view of competitive examinations again, and there we will see some more important uses of these organisms. So the diatoms are actually also called as chrysophytes. Rather, chrysophytes include majority as diatoms and some desmids. They constitute the chrysophytes, and they are the chief producers in the oceans. They are photosynthetic, and they are having the green chlorophyll pigment, and they have the chlorophyll A, which is present in the chrysophytes. Okay, and you all know now that why they are called as diatoms, and what is the characteristic term or feature which is associated with the diatoms soap box, right? So now these diatoms, they are very important components. Earlier they were included in the kingdom Plantae. Now they are included in the kingdom Protista. The second very interesting group of the Protista is dinoflagellates, and dinoflagellates also, like the chrysophytes or the diatoms, they were earlier included into the kingdom Plantae. And these dinoflagellates are also photosynthetic organisms, and they are mostly marine. Okay, that means they live mostly in the ocean or in the sea. And unlike the diatoms which are green in color, desmids जो है वो गोल्डन कलर के होते हैं, लेकिन डाइनोफ्लैजिलेट्स जो हैं इनका कलर जो है बहुत ही वेरी करता है, एंड दे आर ऑफ वाइड वैरायटी ऑफ कलर्स, बहुत सारे कलर के होते हैं, एंड देयर कलर में भी येलो, ग्रीन, ब्राउन, रेड और ब्लू. ओके, so they are of many types depending on which species you are talking about, and they will have, in addition to chlorophyll B, they will have certain other accessory compounds like xanthophylls or some other pigments which will provide this coloration to these algae. So earlier they were placed in the algae in the kingdom Plantae. Now they are protists. They are no longer called as the true algae. However, we can still call them as algae, but they are actually the protists. Okay, and because of this remarkable characteristic in the regarding the coloration of the dinoflagellates, uh, they provide various colors to the water bodies. Even the Red Sea has been named because of the redness which comes from a variety of the dinoflagellates. So the Red Sea gets red color because of a variety which is called as, because of a species which is called as Goniolax. Okay, so this is very important, you have to remember it. Red Sea gets its color because of the dinoflagellate Goniolax. Okay, and this is a red colored algae, it is a red algae. Goniolax also is present in the red tides. Okay, so many times what happens that at some beaches or some seashores there are red tides, because the red color will of the red tides is because of the presence of these dinoflagellates in a huge number. That is why this characteristic color is imparted to those areas. And similar to the diatoms, dinoflagellates also have a very characteristic cell wall, and the cell wall is very stiff. Okay, and this cell wall does not contain silicate, but it contains cellulose, and this is very stiff material. And though its structure is not soap like, but it also contains a furo like substance, a furo. एक उसके अंदर जैसे सोप बॉक्स में है कि एक हाफ सेल जो है और दूसरा हाफ, दोनों केस एक दूसरे के ऊपर फिटेड होते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि दो पोर्शंस होते हैं और दोनों के बीच में थोड़ा सा गड्ढा टाइप का होता है, यानी कि एक जो सेलुलोज के प्लेट्स टाइप के आपको दिखेंगे. तो आप यू कैन सी दिस फिगर फॉर सम क्लैरिटी. दिस इज फिगर 2.4 इन योर टेक्स्ट बुक. So here if you can see, these are the plates. Okay, so these are the cellulose plates, and this is one portion and this is next portion, and there is a furrow between these two portions. Okay, so this has stiff cellulose plates and a characteristic furrow between characteristic furrow, and this furrow can be longitudinal or it can be transverse depending on the species. So this characteristic furrow is actually present in the dinoflagellates, most of the dinoflagellates, and mostly these dinoflagellates will have the flagella. Okay, so because of this flagella they will be highly motile, and here as you can see here these two flagella are coming out over here, and so these two flagella, these biflagellate dinoflagellates, actually uh, these two flagella are arranged in a characteristic way. So one flagella lies longitudinally and another flagella lies transversely, as you can see over here in the notes. So these biflagellates have one flagella, one which lies longitudinally and another lies transversely. Okay, and because of this characteristic flagella, this name has been given. That is why dinoflagellates. So di means two. Okay, and so dino term indicates two, and flagellates means flagella. That means the group of the organisms which contains two flagella. So one flagella lies longitudinally, another flagella lies transversely, and transversely it will lie in the grooves in the furrow which is formed between the cellulose plates, and this is the characteristic feature of such organisms. Okay, and these dinoflagellates are very numerous, very abundant. They are also actually planktonic organisms. Okay, they are also planktonic organisms. That means dinoflagellates will float around passively in the water currents, in the water bodies, and they will provide different kinds of the beautiful colors to the water bodies where they are present abundantly. And they are also photoautotrophs. They can perform reproduction by sexual as well as asexual means. We will not go into much detail about those things over here, but there are many examples and there are many uses of these dinoflagellates also, and some more details we will see in the advanced topics when we will study those things. Okay, so these dinoflagellates are also photosynthetic, diatoms are also photosynthetic, desmids are also photosynthetic, and earlier these both two categories of the protists were in the plantae, in the kingdom Plantae under the algae group. These two are now in the protists. The third group, which is euglenoids, they were also in the Plantae, but they were actually sort of ambiguous group, because some people included them in the kingdom Plantae, some other people considered them as member of the kingdom Animalia. So euglenoids also have the photosynthetic pigment, chrysophytes also have photosynthetic pigments, dinoflagellates also have photosynthetic pigments, and the color of these dinoflagellates, whether it is yellow, green, brown, red or blue, these colors come because of the chlorophyll molecules and the accessory photosynthetic pigments, which are xanthophylls or carotenoid compounds. Okay, and they also release actually certain toxins. The dinoflagellates are infamous for this purpose, and these toxins sometimes are very actually strong toxins, and they can kill marine animals as well as the fishes uh, which are around. So these fishes and these animals actually get killed because of this toxin which is released by the dinoflagellates. So however, the unlike the unlike the chrysophytes, which are very abundant in the oceans and they are major planktonic organisms, they are not that much abundant, though they impart the red color to the Red Sea. But in general, diatoms are much more abundant than the dinoflagellates. So this is what is also important. You have to remember that diatoms are much more abundant than the dinoflagellates, but the characteristic colors to the red tides or Red Sea or such colors to the oceanic regions or to the seashores. Many times they are provided because of the dinoflagellates. Sometimes this coloration may be provided by other organisms also, like there is one organism from which this bioluminescence was discovered. That organism was also uh, that organism also lives uh, around the sea. Similarly, there are many jellyfishes also. Jellyfish का डिटेल हम लोग थोड़ा सा एनिमल किंगडम में बाद में देखेंगे. जब एनिमल किंगडम में जाएंगे तो वहाँ पे किस तरह से एनिमल्स की जो एक कैटेगरी है जेली फिशेस की, तो वो भी उसके अंदर भी बायोल्यूमिनेसेंस होता है. एंड दीज बायोल्यूमिनेसेंस आर एक्चुअली वेरी ब्यूटीफुल लुकिंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स. अगर आप फ़ोटो देखेंगे, I have one PowerPoint presentation where I will show you that how beautiful they look like. So these are actually in the night, if you see, they will be glowing, uh, and the seashore will look like a very beautiful uh, and glowing region. But however, they are very dangerous because they can produce toxins and they can kill even large animals. What to say of the human beings? So these are dangerous beaches wherever these organisms are found. Okay. So now we have discussed briefly about the chrysophytes and dinoflagellates. Now I think uh, euglenoids and slime molds and others we will discuss in the next lecture, because if I discuss many other things also, what I fear is that you will get confused because of uh, the information between different groups. Okay, so now in this lecture we have focused on the chrysophytes or diatoms and on the dinoflagellates, and we will discuss others in the next lecture so that you don't get confused. Okay, so note down these important points, see these figures carefully, and there are few things which you have to uh, remember must uh, regarding these certain groups, and I already have indicated those things. Okay, so now we will stop over here. We will discuss about euglenoids in the next lecture. Thank you.